Hi, I'm Maria Evans from Chemistry 116, and today I'll be demonstrating how to properly use a glass graduated pipette, and then how to calculate total volume with said pipette. Alright, first things first. Before we begin measuring the total volume of a substance, we need to learn about what a meniscus is. A meniscus is the curve in the water, usually when it is placed in a cylindrical device, caused by the surface tension or adhesion of the walls. They can usually be convex or concave. In this case with the pipette, the meniscus will be concave. And it's important to measure volume using the lowest point on the curve of the meniscus to get the most accurate measurement possible. It's also important to remember that when you are calculating your volume with the lowest point on the meniscus, to also add one more decimal place than what is represented on your pipette. Here's another example of the meniscus. You can see the concave shape of the water due to the surface tension on the walls of the pipette. And you also can notice that you do measure using the lowest point of that meniscus. In this case, it happens to be right exactly on the 20 mark, but you do need to keep in mind that you do need to add an extra decimal point than what is represented on the pipette. So the measurement for this volume would be 20.01 milliliters. Also, before we begin, we need to know that before we can calculate the total volume, we must first calculate the initial volume of our substance and then the final volume of that substance. To get the total volume, we must get the difference of the two. One last thing, before we use the cylindrical pipette, we need to prime or clean the pipette using water in solution, rinsing it 3 times before using it. Now we are ready to calculate the initial volume. First things first, place your pipette, submerge it into the solution, and then place a squeezed plastic bulb on top and release, and the pressure will bring the water up the pipette. Now I like to stop it right at the 15 mark just to make it easier when you're calculating your volume. So at this point you will take the bulb off the top and place your finger on top to maintain the water pressure. Up close you can see the meniscus a little bit better. It might be a little blurry, but the bottom of the meniscus is right at the 15 milliliter mark. So now we record our initial volume in our notepad, and remember to keep in mind to add that extra decimal place. So it will be 15.00 milliliters. Above are my past group members who are not present with me right now, so I will record my volume alone. My initial volume, as we just demonstrated, was 15.00 milliliters. Alright, now it's time to record your final volume by releasing the designated amount into your reaction vessel. So I'm going to release the solution. The remaining volume in the pipette will now constitute as the final volume, and it still might be a little blurry, but it reads 9.19 milliliters. We will now record this on our notepad. The final volume that we just measured was 9.19 milliliters. So now that we have calculated the initial volume and the final volume, we will now be able to calculate the difference of the two using a calculator. Here we go. Use 15 milliliters minus 9.19 milliliters. We get 5.81 milliliters. And there is our total volume. Finally, we have calculated the total volume of our substance. And all there is left to do now is just to prime your pipette for future use. Hopefully you can take what you saw in this video and apply it to your future experiments.